Today, we're going deep on one of the most powerful ideas in modern football, positional play, or as it's known, Juego de Posición. It's this kind of unseen science that explains how the best teams in the world seem to control every inch of the pitch. It turns the chaos of a match into something, well, something beautiful. Let's get right into it. So here's the big question, right? You watch a team like Manchester City or Arsenal, and their movement is just incredible. It's almost telepathic. How in the world does that happen? How do they coordinate everything so perfectly, creating and using space like they're all controlled by one single brain? Well, here's the secret. They're basically playing a completely different game. For them, it's not just about passing and moving. No, it's about systematically manipulating the other team. Every single pass, every position a player takes, it's all designed to pull their opponents out of shape and create an advantage way before they even think about taking a shot. And this quote, it just nails it. The ball isn't the prize, you see. It's the tool. It's the bait that's dangled to lure defenders into traps, to get their whole defensive structure to shift, and to open up the spaces that really matter. The real game is happening in the minds and the movement of the players. Okay, so how do they actually pull this off? Well, it all starts with a hidden foundation. It's a structure that you won't see painted on the grass, but it is absolutely everything to how these teams play. Let's talk about the invisible grid. So, in the mind of a coach like Pep Guardiola, the pitch isn't just a big green rectangle. Not at all. It's a map, and it's broken down into 20 specific zones, 4 strips going across and 5 lanes going up and down. Seriously, think of it like a game of Battleship. Every player knows their coordinates and exactly what they're supposed to do in that part of the grid. Now, here's what's so cool about this grid. There's a golden rule that controls everything. To keep the team balanced and make sure there are always passing options, you can never have more than 3 players on the same horizontal line, and you can never have more than 2 in the same vertical lane. It's simple, but it's rigid. If a player moves into a zone, another has to move out. The grid sort of breathes, but it never ever breaks. And you do not want to break this rule. The consequences are huge. At Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has a name for it, the zone of mort, which means the zone of death. And it's not where you score goals. Oh no, it's where you kill your own team's attack by crowding the space and literally getting in your teammates' way. It's the biggest sin you can commit in this system. So, we've got the grid, but why? What's the point of all this structure? Well, the goal isn't just about being organized. It's about systematically creating advantages all over the field. And that's done by achieving what are called the 3 superiorities. So, what are they? First, you've got numerical superiority. That's simple, creating a little 3-on-2 or 4-on-3 in one part of the field. Second is positional superiority, which is all about getting a player into that really dangerous space between the other team's midfield and defense. And finally, there's qualitative superiority. That means engineering a one-on-one matchup for your best attacker against their defender. Let's dig into that second one for a second, positional superiority, because it is so important. This is all about finding a player in what people call the half space, that little channel between the center of the pitch and the wing. A player getting the ball there puts the defense in an impossible position. Do they step up and leave space behind them? Or do they stay put and let the attacker turn and run at them? It's a lose-lose situation. And get this, the data totally backs this up. Actions in these half spaces have a way higher expected possession value, or EPV. That's just a fancy way of measuring how likely any given action is to lead to a shot on goal. And playing in a half space gives you an average gain of plus 0.12 EPV. It's not just a nice theory, it's a real, measurable advantage. The real beauty here is just how fast it can all happen. It can take just 3 passes to achieve everything we just talked about. Pass 1 draws a defender out, creating that numerical advantage. Pass 2 finds the open man between the lines, giving you positional superiority. And pass 3 switches the play out wide to get your winger that one-on-one. Boom, boom, boom. The game has just been tilted in your favor. Okay, so we've got the board, that's the grid. And we have the goal, the 3 superiorities. So now let's look at the method. How do these teams actually manipulate the geometry of the pitch to make this stuff happen in the middle of a game? It really is all about stretching the other team's defense until it snaps like a rubber band. And this happens on 2 different axes. Horizontally, you've got wingers who stay glued to the sidelines. Their only job is to pull the defense as wide as possible. Then, vertically, you have players making deep runs to push the defensive line back toward their own goal. And where's the space created? Right in the middle of that stretched out defense. All that stretching is how you manufacture the free man. He doesn't just show up by accident. Oh no, he is created on purpose. The team will overload one side of the pitch with a bunch of short passes, basically baiting the other team to come press them. And as the defense slides over to deal with that, they mechanically open up space on the other side. It's pure cause and effect, and that's where the free man gets the ball. And you can see this in the data on the types of runs players make. We all know the classic overlap, right? When a fullback runs around the outside of the winger. But in these systems, the underlap, that's an inward run into those deadly half spaces we talked about, is way more effective. I mean, just look at this. Underlaps have a 67% success rate compared to just 52% for overlaps. The game is won from the inside out. Now, all of this, it all builds to one final, almost poetic idea. This is the ultimate goal of this entire complex system. It's the moment where everything clicks into place, and it's known as the spatial singularity. But first, I want you to look at this number, 75%. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the percentage of interactions on a football pitch that are completely nonverbal. We're talking about the little glances, the angle of the body, the slight shifts in posture. This entire system runs on a silent, shared intelligence. It's a language they learn through thousands of hours of training, and it allows them to move as one unit, almost like a murmuration of birds. And that brings us here, the spatial singularity. This is the apex. This is the moment. It's the point where the synchronized movement of 9, maybe 10 players who don't even have the ball, all serves one single purpose: to open up just one single square meter of grass for one specific player for maybe half a second. The entire team works together to create one fleeting moment of perfect clarity in all the chaos. So, at the end of the day, the most important thing to understand is this. Far from being this rigid, robotic system, all of this geometric structure is actually what makes creativity possible. This system doesn't shut down genius players, it creates the perfect stage for them to shine. Because as this quote says so perfectly, geometry is not the enemy of improvisation, it is its prerequisite. It's the hidden framework that allows the artists to go out and paint their masterpiece.